It may still be possible to get a green card even if you've been detained multiple times at the border. Let me explain. It really matters how your border encounters were categorized. If you were trying to come into the US and you were detained, and that was classified as what's called an expedited removal or a deportation, and then you entered illegally after that, then you have something called the permanent bar. However, if you were detained while trying to come into the US and it was just what's called a turnaround or sometimes a voluntary return, in other words, not a deportation, then that's not so problematic. However, even a simple turnaround or voluntary return can be problematic if you had previously been in the US for a year or more and then left and then tried to come back in or did come back in, then that could also give you the permanent bar. So the best way to figure this all out is to request your border record. So you do something called a FOIA, but you need to know which agencies to request it from so that you can have the definitive answer of how many times you were detained, when you were detained, and how were they classified. Were they deportations or were they voluntary returns or turnarounds? This is very delicate stuff. So you really need to make sure it's done right before you attempt it, or the consequence could be getting stuck outside for 10 years or even indefinitely. If you have questions about your case, click the link in my bio. We can schedule a consultation or leave me a comment below and we can discuss your case in detail. Thanks.